Hey horror fans, it's your girl Chauncey K. Robinson, the twisted girl next door, and today I am on the red carpet for the opening night of SHRIEKFEST. Bring you all the interviews. Let's get creepy.
I have very exciting news. I was originally in a movie called Amityville: The Possession, Part 2 of Amityville.
Awesome.
And next week at SCREAMFest on Tuesday night at 7:30 is the premiere of Amityville Murders, where I now play the mother.
Full circle.
The role of Louise DeFeo.
Awesome! Wow, that is great. What attracted you? What attracted you to the horror genre in general?
Well, actually, originally I was in films, and people may know me from Better Off Dead, where I play French girl, or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, where I played an English princess. So I did do comedies, but I also was in Last American Virgin and a movie called Terror Vision, which was very fun. But this, actually, I really never thought I was going to be acting again, but I did a lot of films in the 80s, and I wound up getting more involved with filmmaking because my daughter, her name is Olivia De Laurentiis, is a filmmaker, and she was making films, and she wanted me to be in her films, and bit by bit, I thought, well, I do comedies with her, but I would love to do some drama, and I kind of put the word out there, and then all of a sudden, where's the drama? Horror. It really is, and I thought I want to be in a horror film more. I want to go back, and so I'm very excited because honestly, this film that I'm doing next week that's coming out. Well, I did it, but that's coming out. It is the best work I've ever done in my life.
I've been coming here for years, but this year we have a music video as a finalist for to promote the horror movie Clown Motel, which just premiered last week.
Awesome! And can you tell us a little bit more about the project?
So we were in Vegas shooting a bachelorette party. We flew in the band Beauty and the Suffering and kind of had like the bachelorettes partying out with them, and then we intermixed clips of the movie into the music video, and here we are.
Awesome! And what inspired you to kind of put that kind of fusion with the music?
It was halfway through, actually, the preparation for the feature, and we were trying to get some bands in, and we just thought, hey, why don't we fly them out to be a part of the actual, shoot.
It's a story about a couple that goes to stay like at a bed and breakfast, and they soon realize that the people who are hosting them won't let them leave, and they find out there's like some mischief and something sinister going on in the basement.
Awesome! And what attracted you to writing this project?
Actually, we wanted to write something for a contest a while back last year, and we actually didn't make it into the contest, so we just ended up just building on it for fun. And we said, all right, well, we already have an outline. Let's go ahead and just turn it into a full-fledged script. It's loosely based on just our experiences. My girlfriend and I's experience driving down to Florida on a road trip, and we stayed at a horrible bed and breakfast. So we're like, all right, let's turn this into a script somehow. So I contacted my friend Sarah, who's a writer, and we just kind of put our heads together and put something scary. And we want to do something scary, fun, something to help reinvent the slasher genre.
Rich Van Tyne.
Matt Van Tyne.
Ed Morales.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
We have a short that's going to be world premiering on Sunday in the 2 o'clock block. It's called Jackal, and it's a short film.
And can you tell us a little bit more about Jackal?
It's a short thriller about two friends who wake up in a cabin in a snowstorm with a mysterious couple who have hidden intentions.
The interesting part about this movie was that it kind of makes you feel more and more uneasy as you go on. So in the beginning it starts off kind of comfortable, and then by the end you're feeling really uncomfortable, really claustrophobic, and it's a really neat process.
I would say appearances aren't what they seem would probably be it. We are hoping that by the last frame of the film that everybody will be kind of holding their breath and just.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, we're in the film Jackal. We just interviewed the filmmakers. I play Lance, she plays Grace. We're husband and wife, but we're also husband and wife in real life, too.
Real versus real?
Yes.
Yes, I dig it.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
What attracted you to the project?
I've worked with them before on another film that actually screened at Cannes in 2015. So I have a really great connection with them in terms of working as an actor, and they trust my work. So they approached me and they approached Roseanne, and we sent tapes in, we got auditioned, and we got in. So.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is horror usually your jam, or is this kind of like a foray into it for the first time? Or are you normally like attracted to working and acting?
Horror is my favorite genre, so I was so excited to be in a horror thriller. I mean, it's like a dream come true for me.
Awesome. And in terms of the horror genre, you know, we've seen a lot more like mainstream films kind of get like that Oscar recognition. One would argue that maybe we're in like a horror renaissance. Like, what do you think about the current horror genre, and what are your hopes for like future horror films?
I don't know. You want to?
Yeah, you know, a lot of the newer ones, like, you know, are sort of like the jump out and scare kind of things. And I'm a fan of sort of like the 70s genre and like the late 60s. So I would love to see more of a return to like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that whole genre. Because I think it's, you know, no cheap thrills. It's just hardcore, really.
A lot of CGI, more.
Yeah, exactly. Just hardcore, really scary, leaving more to your imagination. So.
Andrew Feltz from Concourse and Einco.
And Ryan Burry, also from there.
Okay, and what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST? Your project?
Yeah, so we're actually here sponsoring the festival.
Awesome.
For Denise. We are a distribution and marketing company. So we're out here, you know, meeting great filmmakers, looking for movies to distribute around the world.
Are you more into the is horror your jam, or are you kind of
Jam than Andrews, I think, yeah.
what attracts you to the genre?
I just grew up with it, so it's like all sorts of nostalgia feelings for me, and I'm like a horror nut in general. I love blood and gore, so it's a perfect fit, you know.
Awesome. And in terms of our horror genre right now, we've seen a lot more like, you know, mainstream, you know, Get Out got the Oscar, we had Hereditary. What's your hope in terms of where we're at and where you hope the genre goes eventually?
Well, you know, from our perspective, people love horror movies all around the world. And horror movies are always, you know, making big waves and taking new steps and breaking new talent. So that's, you know, why we love to be a part of it.
I mean, I certainly agree. I think as the time has gone on, horror has kind of refined itself, and it's turned into kind of a box office monster, and people are really starting to appreciate good quality horror. So I'm excited to see where it continues to grow and expand in there. And like, movies tend to get better as franchises go on now instead of getting worse. So it's an exciting time, yeah.
Tara Etienne. And speaking with again,
Jessica O'Keefe of Jane Love.
Jane Love. And that's the project. You want to tell us a little bit of your involvement with this project?
Well, I'm co-writer with Jessica. Jessica came up with the concept, and you know, we started discussing it, and we decided that we were going to work together. I thought it was a great project, and so we teamed up, and you know, we got this short, and we're currently developing it into a television series.
Awesome.
So that's yeah.
What particulars of the theme like drew you to the project?
Motherhood, the dark comedy element, seeing a feminine anti-hero. That was really interesting. I mean, just the entire concept in and of itself, it kind of turned its head a little bit on what is expected of motherhood and, you know, of women. And so it was just a strong female character, and it just drew me in.
And what are you hoping in terms of like the audience kind of receiving, you know, this kind of the main character being not normally sometimes what we get pushed on us with the horror genre? Like what narrative are you hoping to kind of create around, you know, with the addition of your film and a future TV series?
Well, the future of America, about how it is all diversity, and you know, it's about the bigger picture of what makes America amazing, right? And Jane Love, while she's cleaning up the town and making the world a better place, she's also a mom, just like us, and we met as moms. Right?
Really important.
Yeah, it's really important.
And also, I think too, just exploring the theme of good and bad in a different way. Morality, because I think right now we're in a place as a country where those kind of discussions are happening, and people are feeling like they need to take power into their own hands. So we're trying to sort of channel that theme a little bit, but in a fun way.
Politics in a fun way.
In a fun way.
I dig it.
Hey, I'm Carissa Barton.
I'm Cherise Barton.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
We're here with Jane Love.
We were just talking about Jane Love.
Yes.
So, what drew you to the project?
Jessica's amazing, but she had asked for choreography to be an important part of the film, and so we came in and helped to stage it and choreograph it. We're sisters. Cherise and I
grew up in Canada together and made our way to New York together, and now we're in LA together, and we have
Family affair.
Exactly. So we continue to dance and choreograph together. So we came in together on this.
Our company is Barton Movement, and we are a one-stop shop for all things dance. Essentially, we provide choreography, movement for film, television, stage, and so Jessica, yes, she invited us in, and it's an amazing project. And
It's such an
we all
original idea to incorporate choreography in this particular.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Like, you don't always see like the idea of like dance or choreography like so intricate to a horror plot. So, what did you think when you how did you kind of approach that in terms of, I mean, the plot line and what you were bringing in terms of that angle?
Well, choreography doesn't always have to be dancing,
combat,
but you can work movement with some rhythm and with some coordination, and a lot of the times it actually takes dancer awareness to be able to sort out how to do that. But we just love the idea of creating a world through Jane Love's eyes that is kind of choreographed. It's a little bit manic in that way, and it was really, really interesting and fun to play with creating, putting that puzzle together.
Awesome.
Dance really can be an extension of humanity. So there's the person, and then there's the character, and then the dance just adds to that. So.
Tim Earnhardt.
And Reeve Barcelou.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
We have a short playing called Safe.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the short?
It's a horror sci-fi thriller movie. Only about 8 minutes long. Help me elaborate on that.
These three masked guys break into a woman's home, and she kicks some ass, essentially.
Wow, so strong women empowerment there.
Yes, total women. She kicks all their ass.
Right.
Is that what attracted you to the project, this kind of angle?
Well, I wrote, produced, and directed it. So, yeah, I always have strong female leads in my movies. So, it's not like women should. Like, I don't know, what am I trying to say, Reeve? Why do I write these?
Well, because it's what you got in your head. You got to get that creativity out right now,
No, but at the same time, I think the strong females, like, I think of movies like Revenge that came out, like, I love that movie. This kind of follows suit, but not as gory.
Yeah.
So
I have to die twice, and it's very difficult.
Oh, okay. And in terms of, what would you hope that the viewers, when they walk out of your film, what's the one message, if anything, that you would hope what would pop in their head after they see this?
I would say is to think about, if you could turn back time and right a wrong, would you actually make things worse?
Right. Would it be for the good, or would it be for the worse?
Yeah.
Paul Lewis Harrell.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
My connection to the SHRIEKFEST is that I'm working with Dylan Narang and his film Soundwave.
Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with the project and what the project's about?
Well, I've known Dylan for a while. I was in his previous film that premiered at SHRIEKFEST a couple of years ago called All I Need. And All I Need was kind of like a nice little project that was needing some additional pickups to extend to full feature length. And it really made that film very strange in the horror genre that had kind of a social tie into it. So he called me in from another friend of his from Chapman University, and just worked with him as a small little role in that, and then he called me in for a small role in Soundwave.
Awesome. And what do you hope people get out of the film? Like, what message, when they walk out of the theater, if anything, would you hope they walk away with when they see this?
I think the interesting thing is that it's a technological take on something that's very old, that's been around for a long time. But you have to be very careful what you say nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything, like, for example, this lovely interview that I'm having right now with you.
You're picking it out.
Recorded forever, so it's making a sound wave. And anybody can access that data and use it for you or against you at any point in time. They could take it out of context, but they can find out what the truth of the matter was at that time when you were recorded. And so it's kind of like a touch on what's going on in the world of surveillance and Big Brother as just something to think about.
Carlos Melendez.
And Carlos, what is your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
Well, I'm screening a short film called Clickbait that takes place in the deep, dark sides of the internet.
I can take a guess of what Clickbait is about, but tell me a little bit more about it.
All right, so it's the story about this teenager who drops into a clickbait and finds himself trapped in this conversation with some weird people that are torturing a person, and they put him through a test to save the life of a girl's father, all playing through the internet. So it talks about darknet and all this influence about like Unfriended and not the dark web world.
What made you come up with that idea of that wanting to do this kind of project, this kind of theme?
The film Unfriended, I love the format, how it's playing on Skype, and I think right now there's so many subjects on the darknet, all these videos that are coming out and how internet is affecting our lives and the relationships that we have and the barrier that it creates with the interaction that we have with people. So I really wanted to explore that and how that horror created and that barrier is created through the internet worldwide. So it's a film that takes place first in Mexico, spreading to England, and ends up in Japan.
Awesome. And finally, what do you hope people walk away with your film?
Well, I think they're going to walk out with a thrill and hopefully beware of the clickbaits on the internet.
Beware. I love that shirt. What attracts you to the horror genre?
Paycheck.
Okay, besides the capitalist money.
Yeah, I was not actually a big horror fan. I just
really
coming out of USC Film School, I knew the quickest and easiest way to get a feature made was if it was horror. So I wrote my first horror script about a Ouija board, and called it Witch Board, and made it, got it financed, got it distributed, and then it did so well. Then my second film was another horror film, just by chance, and they both did so well that it was like I was a horror.
What do you hope is the future of horror?
I don't know. I kind of miss the edgier stuff, but the edgier stuff has a very defined audience, you know. So I understand why they're kind of making the safer stuff so they can have a bigger audience. I get that. But I hope that doesn't mean that there won't still be the edgy stuff out there, too.
A little bit of the edgy, but also with the balance.
Yes.
Rocky Ramsey.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
My script's in. It's called Miscreant.
You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's about this young law school student who explains to two small-town detectives how he came to be found in a house with 3 dead bodies.
Awesome. And what made you come up with that?
I wrote it at USC when I was in school and took some time off, was doing a lot of stunts, and came back, shot it actually, and now we're ready to make it as a feature.
Awesome. And what do you hope people walk away with if they ever experience your movie?
Oh, just bigger, louder, lots of blood. Yeah, just have a good time. Yeah.
I'm Kenny Wright.
And what's your connection to SHRIEKFEST?
I'm a screenwriter. I have a finalist for a short screenplay, Magic.
Okay, and you want to tell us a little bit about Magic?
A short pitch. It's about a magician who's decided to retire. However, something mysterious brings him out of the urge to retire, and he finds that mysterious element that makes him want to continue on with a very strange career.
What made you write it?
I've worked with people who work with very prominent like stage magicians like Chris Angel and celebrities like that.
Wow.
And I've always grown up watching that kind of stuff, and I thought these people are genuine characters, they're entertainers, but what would ever happen if they had a much darker past, more of an age-old secret kind of thing? And then one night I sat down and wrote it.
And finally, what do you hope people walk away with if they ever experience your project?
I hope it makes them feel anything at all, good, bad, nervous, energy at all.